Good morning and welcome. We're so glad you're joining us for worship today and hope you will come again. For more information about our congregation, please fill out a visitor form on our website at www.unitytemple.org. Or you can reach out to me directly. My name is Tina Lewis, and I may be reached at tlewis@unitytemple.org. Following services today, we hope everyone will join us for social time at Community Hour on Zoom. A link may be found in your order of service. And now, I hope you enjoy the service.
Good morning. My name is Amanda Coletta-Cott, and I serve on your Board of Trustees. It is my pleasure to welcome you here this morning. If you are here for the first time, welcome. We look forward to getting to know you. We invite everyone to join in our Zoom Community Hour immediately following the service. The link can be found in the e-beacon or Friday's email, or you may send a note to tlewis@unitytemple.org to request the link. Each week we remind ourselves of our congregation's core values: connection, transformation, justice, and acceptance. Our mission is to embody these core values in our daily lives by welcoming all, inspiring compassion, nurturing wonder, and serving community. Unitarian Universalists uphold 7 principles, which can be found on our website. Our congregation is beginning to explore participation in the nationwide UU movement, currently considering an 8th principle, in which we would covenant to affirm and promote journeying towards spiritual wholeness by working to build a diverse, multicultural, beloved community by our actions that accountably dismantle racism and other oppressions in ourselves and in our institution. Look for more information about the 8th principle in the coming weeks in the e-beacon. We are so glad that you are here today. We hope you find this service inspiring and meaningful. I invite you now to take a moment to greet one another online and in our sanctuary.
Hi, I'm Val. These are my kids, Ruby, Will, and Max. Go ahead, Ruby.
Hi, my name is Ruby. I go to Longfellow and I'm in 4th grade.
Hi, my name is Maxwell and I am in 2nd grade and I go to Longfellow. Hi, my name is Will and I go to Longfellow.
What grade are you in?
and I'm in kindergarten.
Okay. Are you guys ready? We invite you to light your chalice along with us. We are Unitarian Universalists. This is the church of the open minds, the loving hearts, and the helping hands. We take care of the planet Earth and each other.
Our opening words this morning are by Jack Mendelson. Here in this sanctuary of ancient dreams and wisdom and beauty, we come to grow, to be healed, to stretch mind and heart, to be challenged, renewed, to be helped in our own continuing struggles for meaning and for love, to help build a world with more justice and mercy in it, to be counted among the hopers and doers. In the face of cynicism, darkness, brutality around us and within, we seek to align ourselves with a living community that would affirm rather than despair, that would think and act rather than simply adjust and succumb. Here we invite the spirit of our own humanity and the healing powers under, around, through, and beyond it, to give us the nerve and grace, the toughness and sensitivity to search out the truth that frees and the life that maketh all things new. Whoever you are, wherever you are on your life's journey, wherever you are in the world, come, let us worship together.
Please join me in singing number 323 in the gray hymnal, Break Not the Circle. Break not the circle of enabling love, where people grow forgiven and forgiving. Break not that circle, make it wider still, till it includes, embraces all the living. Come wonder at this love that comes to life, where words of freedom are with humor spoken, and people keep no score of wrong and guilt, but will let human bonds remain unbroken. Join then the movement of the love that frees, till people of whatever race or nation will truly be themselves, stand on their feet, see eye to eye with laughter and elation.
Please join us in reading the words of our covenant. Love is the doctrine of this congregation. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humanity and fellowship to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with each other and with God.
Good morning. My name is Diana Coates, and I'm one of your pastoral associates. It's the time in the service when we share what we're holding in our hearts, the joys and sorrows of our lives that have moved us and moved our spirit throughout this week. We are a community whose mission commits us to inspiring compassion in our lives and in our church. We wish to companion you and to sit with you in your times of joys and sorrow. To share a milestone or event, a loss or a major transition, please email us at pastoralassociates@unitytemple.org, and please get this information to us before Friday at 8 o'clock. There is one celebratory event shared this week, and that is with Marty Swisher in celebration of her granddaughter's 2nd birthday. Jordan Swisher continues to bring a great deal of joy into her life. Violence touches the lives of many, both outside and inside our community. We pray for all those whose lives have been impacted by violence as either victims or perpetrators. Let us hold in our hearts each of these joys and sorrows shared, as well as those unspoken but present in this community, as we enter into a moment of prayer and meditation. O Spirit of love, source of all creation, infinite mystery, be with us today and help us remember that each of us is born with an unencumbered spot, free of expectation and regret, free of ambition and embarrassment, free of fear and worry, an umbilical spot of grace where we were each touched by the divine. In this spot of grace that issues peace and love, psychologists call this spot the psyche. Theologians call it the soul. Jung calls it the seat of the unconscious. Hindu masters call it Atman. And Buddhists call it Dharma. Rilke calls it inwardness. And Jesus calls it the center of our love. To know this spot of inwardness is to know who we are, not by surface markers of identity, not by where we work or what we wear or how we like to be addressed, but feeling our place in relation to the infinite and by inhabiting it. And when I am in that place in me, a place of goodness, a spark of the divine, and you are in that place in you, we are one. Namaste, and I bow to that oneness. Namaste.
morning. I have a book today called The Problem with Problems. It's by Rachel Rooney and it's illustrated by Zara Hicks. Problems are creatures. They come in all sizes, from tiny to huge, some wearing disguises. Naughty, hairy, slippery, tough, sticky like superglue, gathering stuff. Each one is different. I've met quite a few, but all of them want to make trouble for you. They like to set traps. They'll stand in your way. They turn the sky cloudy and paint the grass gray. You'll find them in cafes, yuck, waiting to play. I'm hungry, I need the bathroom. In boxes of toys, or when things go astray. She used to wear me all the time. Maybe we're too smelly. Henry, where are you? Whenever you meet one, don't worry. Relax. Take a deep breath and consider the facts. Have a good look at it, call it by name. A problem is sometimes quite easy to tame. Spider. Look at it twice from a new point of view. Maybe it isn't a problem for you. You're friendly, actually. The small ones annoy you, but often get bored. They'll wander away if they're being ignored. I give up. Let's go home. Some need untangling. Some slowly fade. Crash, wham, bam, boom, boom. Others will wilt when they're left in the shade. Problems breed problems. Please keep them apart. Don't feed them. Don't pet them. Don't take them to heart. No, thank you. If you ever spot one heading your way, try to avoid it. Don't ask it to play. You've got a funny nose. Whatever. Some you can sleep on. They wake in the night, then quietly tiptoe and slip from your sight. But sometimes a problem refuses to go, and if that happens, it's handy to know. Problems, like secrets, are terribly shy. They hate to be shared, so give it a try. On a bench, on a bus, on a bed, in an ear. You'll feel much better, and they'll disappear. Pop, zap, ping, puff. The end.
Us is a poem written by David Schiffman, and it was set to music by composer and singer Lisa Littlebird. With Lisa's permission, the Unity Temple Choir will sing these words. In desperation, we found freedom. In freedom, we found love. In love, we found devotion. In devotion, Spirit found us. The Unity Temple Choir with Judy Compton as soloist.
In desperation, we found freedom. In freedom, we found love. In love, we found devotion.
I owe you an apology. Last week, I dove deep into some of the challenges facing this congregation. I talked about problems, called them by name, and encouraged you to look at them in a new way. Because problems, like secrets, are terribly shy. I talked openly about the governance crisis, the unsustainable nature of some of the committees, and about some of the changes you might see in regards to the annual fund drive. I hoped that by naming them, it would take some of the power away and some of the mystery. Everything I said was true, and I misjudged. The work of the interim minister is to first join the system, then focus on the work, then analyze the system, then connect the dots, and then finally, at the end, to leave well. But let's go back to what I said first. First, join the system, and then focus on the work. I put the cart before the horse and tried to focus before joining your system. Because I have been immersed in this congregation and meeting leaders and talking to staff and congregants and looking at your systems and attending meetings and thinking about you and learning about you day in and day out for over 6 weeks, I forgot that for many of you, that was at best only the second time you had heard me preach. If you have seen every moment for all ages and prayer and sermon that I have done since I arrived on August 1st, then you might have been exposed to me for all of maybe 60 minutes, maybe not even that much. And that is nowhere near enough time and exposure for me to have joined the system enough to have built trust. Definitely not enough time to build the trust that is necessary for us to do this work together. I am sorry. While I won't go back and redact or take back my observations, they are all valid. Let me please amend my process. Because what you need to know is that I see you, Unity Temple, Unitarian Universalist congregation. I see how this building has shaped you, but does not define you. I see how connected you are with each other through your small groups, through your music programs, through your committees and your teams, through your robust religious education program. I see how much you care about the community outside these walls through your Faith in Action program and your involvement in just about every justice issue, and your support of your community partners through giving away your collection plate each week. If you are new but attended last week, you may have gotten the mistaken impression that this is a sinking ship, and that could not be farther from the truth. This is a wonderful congregation with so much good happening. I can't even begin to tell you how excited I was a few months ago when I got the news that the church that I most wanted to minister to during their interim time wanted me as their minister. And that excitement has not waned, but grown since that phone call. Yes, we will have challenges, but you need to know that I see you and that I know at the very core of my being, you got this. So I jumped the gun in my excitement. I'm sorry. You will find that this is one of my growing edges. I get carried away and I get so excited and I just want to bring you along with me and share everything that I am learning and seeing. And I sometimes forget to be attentive to process in my desire to get things done. And I am excited about the work that we will get to do together, not because you are flawed, but because you are already so amazing. I am proud to claim you as the church that I serve. The church that I serve. It's an interesting phrase. Unitarian Universalist ministers actually argue about that phrase sometimes, about whether I should say you are my church or the church that I serve. We get very passionate about this argument. People will point out how ministers are called from within the body of the congregation, which is the primary source of our ministerial authority. We ministers also argue about whether we should sit on the dais or sit in the pews, and even about whether or not the pulpit should be raised or on the floor. You ministers love to argue. Sometimes these arguments come in the form of a pragmatic point of view. It is easier to see a speaker when they're on a raised platform. But often we're examining the theology behind them more than the practicality. What does each of these assertions say about the minister in relationship to the congregation? But as much as we might debate language or seating arrangements, there is something that we all agree on. The minister is not the church. You are the church. Unity Temple exists because of you, not because of me or anything I will do or say, and not because of any of your other ministers. We ministers will come and go, but the congregation endures. Getting theological about it, we see this core belief expressed in how our Unitarian Universalist congregations govern themselves in what is called our polity. We have what is called congregational polity, meaning that each congregation governs themselves according to their convictions, not according to what the minister wants, not according to what any denominational body might tell them. Historian and scholar Conrad Wright wrote that our polity is important because it defines the way in which we believe human beings should be related to one another for church purposes. There are real differences, he writes, between democratic, hierarchical, oligarchical, and authoritarian patterns of social organization. Behind the social forms lies the understanding of the nature of human beings. When conceptualized and phrased in theological language, this means both a doctrine of human nature and a doctrine of the church. So polity is not a matter of casual social arrangements, but goes to the very heart of basic issues of theology, of how we understand our place in the universe and our relationship to each other. Our polity is democratic, and as such is a representation, an enactment, if you will, of our belief in the inherent worth and dignity of each person. Wright points out that we Unitarian Universalists are actually more conservative with respect to the practice of our polity than we are with respect to the practice of our doctrine of what we believe. He points out that we have been Congregationalist in polity much longer than we have been liberal in our theology. that indeed our congregational polity has proven to be more durable and adaptable to changing times than any of the doctrinal formulations, whether of God, of human nature, or of human destiny. Indeed, here at Unity Temple, the liberalness of your theology has changed over time, but your polity has been congregational since the first bylaws were written in 1871. In congregational polity, not only does each church choose how to govern itself, but each of you has a role. Each of you has a voice. Each of you participates in the embodiment of the mission of this congregation. It is not my congregation. It is not Reverend Emily's congregation or Reverend Colleen's congregation. It is not the congregation of any of your previous ministers. It is yours. As ministers, we may influence, guide, and shape, but it is through your beliefs and your actions and your participation that this congregation's mission becomes reality. You hold the institutional memory and determine the direction for the future. In this way, you are each prophets, empowering this congregation and empowered by this congregation to make the circle wider and wider still. Unitarian theologian James Luther Adams took this concept of each of us having a prophetic voice and called it the prophethood of all believers. He wrote that as an element of the radical laicism, we need also a firm belief in the prophethood of all believers. The prophetic liberal church, he says, is not a church in which prophetic function is assigned merely to a few, that is, the ministers. Instead, the prophetic liberal church is the church in which persons think and work together to interpret the signs of the times in light of their faith, to make explicit through discussion the epochal thinking demanded by the times. The prophetic liberal church is the church in which all members share the common responsibility to attempt to foresee the consequences of human behavior, both individual and institutional, with the intention of making history in place of merely being pushed around by it. Only through a prophethood of all believers, Adams says, can we together foresee doom and mend our common ways. What I find so exciting about this is that the more we claim our prophetic voice as individuals and as a congregation, the more we become transformed. You may have heard it said that the more you get involved in a church, the more you will get out of it. And this is certainly true. But I don't think it goes far enough. I don't think that people come to church merely to belong, but to be changed. And that change, my friends, that change is ministry. Marjorie Bowens-Wheatley said that ministry is what we do together, clergy and laity. It flows from a religious conviction that invites people to become more of themselves, more whole, as we give witness to a vision of a world transformed by our care. In freedom, we find love. In love, we find devotion. And in devotion, the Spirit may find us and transform our world. This is one of the beautiful things about Unity Temple. Y'all do ministry. James Luther Adams also famously said, "By their groups you shall know them." And Unity Temple has groups. You have soul connections groups for people to dig deeper into their own spirituality and theology. You have a group for people dealing with mental illness and the loved ones supporting them. You have a group for people who identify as Black, Indigenous, people of color. You have a men's group, a women's group, an LGBTQIA group. You have a pagan group and a meditation group. And you care for each other through your pastoral associates and your care team. Then there's your rich religious education programs and your faith in action groups working for transformation, for connection, and for justice. You have a climate justice group, a reproductive justice group, a restorative justice group, an LGBTQ and gender justice group, an immigration justice group, and a democracy and voting rights group. As I said last week, you have over 70 groups that a person can plug into and grow in, and in which you do ministry together. Today was supposed to have been an engagement fair after church, where all these groups would have been set up in Unity House across the hallway for you to walk around in and learn more about them and sign up for the ones that interest you. Unfortunately, that was not meant to be. The pandemic has put kinks in a lot of things these days, but I encourage you to check out the congregation's website and email Tina for more information about the many ways that not only can you participate at Unity Temple, but in which you can be transformed. Your groups are an expression of your polity. They are an expression of your understanding, written into the very DNA of this congregation, that it is your church. Doesn't mean you will always agree. You won't. Like UU ministers, you may find yourselves arguing over the theological and the pragmatic ramifications of different ways to embody your mission, or even what your mission is. And we will talk about this together in the coming months. How governance provides the foundation for strong ministry, and how the roles of the laity and the staff change as the size of a congregation changes. And how Unity Temple has experienced so many shifts and changes in culture and size and governance in the last 40 years. Together, we will look at your history, dig deeper into your strengths and your growing edges, and name the problems together as a way of taking power away from them. Whose church is it? It is your church, and a thriving congregation. It is full of conviction, ministry, and connection. It is an honor and a privilege to serve as your minister. Blessed be.
Hi, I'm Reverend Scott Ossing, and I serve as Unity Temple's community minister. Each week, Unity Temple gives the Sunday offering to an organization that aligns with our Unitarian Universalist values. This week, the offering will go to the UU Advocacy Network of Illinois, where I'm proud to serve, along with the Reverend Karen Mooney, as Executive Co-Director leading our statewide justice network. UUANI works to build capacity, community, and power among UU congregations in Illinois by developing spiritually grounded leadership, growing deep relational connections, and mobilizing for collective action. This fall, a second team from Unity Temple is participating in our Social Justice Leadership Development Program, which is now part of the National UUA Organizing School. Unity Temple has been represented on the UUNI board ever since our launch in 2013, and you are an important part of our statewide network of congregations partnering with frontline organizations to mobilize around shared values. Just this week, we helped pass the most equitable climate legislation in the country that will finally end the burning of fossil fuel for energy in Illinois, while providing job training and job opportunities for fossil fuel workers, foster care alumni, and those who've been incarcerated. UUNI is grateful for the support Unity Temple has provided over the years, and we welcome your continued partnership as we work together to bring about strategic, systemic change towards justice, beloved community, and a healthy planet. You may donate online at uuani.org, or by sending a check to Unity Temple with UUANI in the memo line, or by using your phone's camera to scan the QR code on the screen and following the instructions. Thank you for what you do and for who you are. You truly are UUANI.
Please join me in singing number 354 in the Gray Hymnal, We Laugh, We Cry. We laugh, we cry, we live, we die, we dance, we sing our song. We need to feel there's something here to which we can belong. We need to feel the freedom just to have some time alone. But most of all, we need close friends we can call our very own. And we believe in life and in the strength of love. And we have found a need to be together. We have our hearts to give. We have our thoughts to receive. And we believe that sharing is an answer. A child is born among us and we feel a special glow. We see time's endless journey as we watch the baby grow. We need thrill to hear imagination freely running wild. We dedicate our minds and hearts to the spirit of this child, and we believe in life and in the strength of love, and we have found a time to be together. And with the grace of age, we share the wonder of youth, and we believe that growing is an answer. Our lives are full of wonder, and our time is very brief. The death of one among us fills us all with pain and grief. But as we live, so shall we die, and when our lives are done, the memories we shared with friends, they will linger on, and we believe in life and in the strength of love, and we have found a place to be together. We have the right to grow, we have the gift to believe that peace within our living is an answer. We seek elusive answers to the questions of this life. We seek to put an end to all the waste of human strife. We search for truth, equality, and blessed peace of mind. And then we come together here to make sense of what we find. And we believe in life and in the strength
Whether tears have fallen from your eyes this past week or gleeful laughter has spilled out of your smiling mouth, you are beloved, and there is a place for you here. Whether you are feeling brave or brokenhearted, defiant or defeated, fearsome or fearful, you are beloved, and there is a place for you here. Whatever is on your heart, however it is with your soul in this moment, how many questions you bring, you are beloved, and there is a place for you here. For this is a church created with love and care and conviction by people like you and people not like you over many, many decades. Created so that today you might know that you are lovable and that you are loved, and so that you might carry that love out into the world as a blessing. Go in peace.